In high school, I ran cross-country indoor and outdoor track. Before that, I ended up having a tumor develop in my foot when I was in 7th grade. Had it operated on quite a few times, and then eventually had it amputated literally 3 weeks after winning the New England title in the mile. When we first discovered the tumor and everything, it was back when I was in 7th grade. You know, my dad noticed it when we were out on the beach one day, and it was just a lump on my foot. Had it removed, and then realized after that, during my 8th grade, it resurfaced. It was throughout the entire foot. At that time, I ended up having the toe next to my big toe amputated. At that time, doctors told me I'd have a hard time walking, never mind going and running, so I was a soccer player and everything. Had the kids that ran track and cross country asked me to join the team and said, why not? You know, to prove the doctor wrong, basically. I was wanting to snub the doctor a little bit. So I got into track and field, and then we noticed my junior year, again, the tumor had resurfaced, and I was told during my senior year, after it spread throughout the foot again, that eventually I'd have to have my foot amputated, and at that time they wanted to take it right then and there.
When Joe first found out that he definitely needed an amputation, we all took it very hard. He took it very hard. He said, I can't run, I can't do my track, and I want to run. And it was very devastating for him to realize that.
And I ended up being extremely angry, frustrated. You know, I'm an 18-year-old kid, not having a clue to what this would do to me. You know, I thought I was invincible at the time. I literally thought, come on now, I'm 18, I'm doing and accomplishing what I want in the world of track and field. How can this be taken away from me? Doctors wanted to go and amputate my foot back during the cross-country season in October. And I told them, no, you couldn't then. I dealt with a lot of the pain, suffered through a lot of the pain, and just made sure I worked my way through and accomplished what I wanted during the indoor season. I remember going in the hospital, and that day at the hospital, and literally going into the men's room there and just looking in the mirror saying, oh my goodness, this is really going to happen right now. And it was just so real. And afterwards it was like, yep, my foot's definitely gone. It's not there. You know, your leg's in a cast. I went and spent one night in the hospital, returned home the next day, and had a group of friends and family all piled into the house, which told me right then and there I'm going to be fine.
When Joseph lost his foot and afterwards he was right back up doing things, he went into a bike competition like 3 weeks after his surgery. And to see him be competitive again and doing everything that he loved was just a fantastic feeling, knowing that he's going to be okay.
After receiving my prosthetic back in probably mid-May, you know, I went out during that first week and tried to run down the street with it just to see, and I tell you, I probably got like 50 meters and was dead tired, ready to pass out on the ground. I remember walking back up onto the porch and everything, saying I got a long road ahead of me. My accomplishments during that senior year, during indoor track, I ended up winning the Division I class meet in the mile, was 3rd place in the all-state meet in the mile, and then went on to New England to become the New England champion in the mile. From that first day coming home and seeing all the support that I got, I knew that I had to go and just get back on my feet and get things going. I ended up going to my senior prom, you know, walking up to graduate, you know, and get my diploma, you know, and those were things that were huge, so I wasn't going and being held back after that at all. I found out about the Paralympics soon after surgery and ended up talking to my high school coach, Bill Jennings, and saying, "What do you think?" And he said, "If you're up for it, I'll help you out." And we went and got to work, and I contacted my prosthetic facility, asked if they can build me a running prosthetic, and they had no problems with it. We got it done, and soon after, got to training. My goal of running competitive times that I did in high school, that was my goal, is to run the same times or about that I ran in high school. And then I stumbled across world records of the Paralympics and everything, and Paralympic records and amputee records, and said, wow, if I do that, I'd be destroying those times. Through our training and everything, we realized that we were on track to qualify. We made the qualifying standards and everything, and then ended up going and not really being seated well in 92 for the 400-meter run. That's the event that I qualified in.
When we found out Joe was qualified for Paralympic, it was ecstatic. I was ecstatic. It was just a wonderful feeling. And then when we found out he was definitely going to Spain, it was like, wow. You know, everybody in the family was so happy and cheering him on and everything.
You know, I remember going over on the plane ride, and they go and they give you the cards to check off, is this business or pleasure? And we were told as a team to make sure that we put pleasure, and I was like, no, I'm going over to take care of business. So I checked off business, handed the cards in and everything else, and then you get over there, and that's what it was all about. It was about business.
And he called me up and told me he was going to be running in the 400-meter run because they had canceled the 800-meter run. And I said, okay, you'll do great.
Joe got this one. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joey. Keep it up. Keep it up.
We waited for the day he ran, and when he called me up and he told me, I did it, I won, I just cried and cried, and he was crying on the other end of the phone. And it was an awesome feeling knowing that someone with the dream that he had to be an Olympic champion, and he did it.
When I got home, it was unbelievable. You know, going and seeing the support that I got at the airport, and then going home and having the city of Brockton give me a Joe LeMar Day and everything to honor me, and have a big dance and event, and everything was fantastic. It was a thrill. After that, I knew I was going to still compete. I ended up going over to an international meet in '93 over in Germany. In '94, I ended up getting in a little accident in which I got hit by a car, so I was out of competition for a couple of years. And then '96 rolled around, Atlanta, did all my work, training and everything, and during one of my competitions, I picked up a new event, the long jump, and I ended up actually breaking my ankle in the long jump. Went on to the Paralympic trials with a broken ankle in an air cast, and finished 4th in 3 events, missing out on the '96 team. But that's what kept me motivated to compete for the next 4 years. After '96, went. Training and everything was all on my own, you know, finding running partners here and there, stopping into like, you know, Bridgewater State College to train with the guys there. But as far as workouts, who I was getting that from and everything, I was still going to Coach Jennings for things, and then doing a lot on my own because I was coaching at that time, so I was, you know, knew what I had to get done and got it done and competed all the way through Sydney in 2000. It was a trip that I got to go and actually enjoy more, being my second time around, you know, being a leader on the Paralympic team and everything, and having some of the younger athletes look up to me, asking me what should they expect and everything. So that was really a pleasure trip right there. And then to top it off, coming in third place in the 800 and receiving a bronze medal, you know, it really was a great way to end my racing career. If I broke it down to look at it, I'd say that it was much sweeter winning the New England title in the indoor mile than it was to win a Paralympic gold medal. Okay. To me, and for me, and the reason why that is because I knew everything that I had to go through, you know, to get that New England title in the mile. You know, I was suffering then. You know, as a Paralympic athlete, yeah, there were different things to deal with. You know, you had to put on a prosthetic leg and go out and run and train, but the pain and everything wasn't there, so it was easier for me. And I came from being a runner, so to continue running, you know, it was a lot easier. And I knew and had my goals set. I knew how fast and what I could push myself to do as a Paralympian, so it made it a lot easier for me as a Paralympian. You know, right now I'm a cross-country and track and field coach, and it's wonderful. I've been coaching now for 20 plus years, and it's my way to give back to the athletes.
Well, Coach LeMar inspired me to never step on the track unless I was sure of myself. And that could range anywhere from chasing a time that I was confident that I could achieve, or being the fastest person on the track. Never step on unprepared or in disbelief of your abilities.
But he was very, very dedicated person, and even when he had his son, he actually didn't show. That's the only day that I ever remember him missing practice, and it's really inspires us to be, you know, very dedicated people.
I mean, I'm one who goes and pretty much just shares my story with them so that they know I've been there. You know, I've been through the hardest of times, and it's to give them that motivation that they can go and accomplish things, you know, even though they're not going through the best of times. Looking and seeing if I take it back and make a change to not lose my foot and everything and see where I'd go, you know, it's unrealistic to think that way. It didn't happen that way, you know. I did lose my foot. I moved on, and I, you know, lived with and moved on, period. I go and look at athletes that I competed against, athletes that I've beaten, and I see what they've accomplished. You know, you got Andy Downing, for instance, who ended up beating me at the All-State meet just by like a second, ended up being, you know, U.S. national champion in the 1500. You know, so yeah, I can go and look at that and say, what if? But it's not realistic. I was dealt a different hand, and I went and moved on from that and made sure that I did the best I could with what I was dealt. I just look at things, you know, in the way that, you know, whatever you want as a person, you can go out and get it. You know, don't be told that you can't do something. If it's something that's, you know, that you want, that's not harming others, why not go out and achieve it? So, you know, I've had a wonderful career, so that's my way to give back. And I'm also married with 2 wonderful children, and that's a wrap.
Joe.